Hello and welcome back to the channel dedicated to helping you age smarter, not slower. Whether this is your first time watching or you're a loyal subscriber, I'm truly glad you're here. What sugar actually does once it enters your body, especially after age 50? In today's video, we're going deep into the hidden effects of sugar, especially in adults over 50. You'll learn what sugar actually does to your aging body, how it affects your brain, heart, joints, and more. And most importantly, how to cut back without feeling deprived. Yes, we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for many of us. Sugar, that sweet little treat that comforts us after a long day or sneaks into our healthy snacks. So, if you're over 50 and want to stay sharp, active, and independent, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone you love. Let's take control of our health together. Let's get what sugar does inside your body, especially after age 50. When we think of sugar, we often think of weight gain or cavities. But the damage goes far deeper, especially in seniors. Once sugar enters your bloodstream, it spikes your blood sugar levels and triggers the release of insulin, a hormone responsible for transporting that sugar into your cells. Now, in a younger, more resilient body, this process happens relatively smoothly. But for adults over 50, everything slows down. 1. Your metabolism doesn't work as efficiently. 2. Insulin sensitivity starts to decline. 3. And your body begins storing more sugar as fat, particularly visceral fat, which clings to your organs and increases the risk of heart disease and diabetes. But there's another silent process happening beneath the surface. Glycation. Glycation occurs when excess sugar in your bloodstream binds with proteins and fats, forming harmful compounds called AGEs, or advanced glycation end products. These AGEs damage tissues, trigger inflammation, and speed up aging in your skin, organs, and joints. Sugar literally caramelizes your insides, just like it browns toast or makes candy sticky. But in your body, that stickiness makes your blood vessels less flexible, your brain foggier, and your joints stiffer. Inflammation is the root of nearly every chronic disease we face in later life. Sugar is one of the biggest dietary contributors to systemic inflammation, which accelerates everything from arthritis to memory loss to weakened immune function. Studies show that seniors who consume more than 25 grams of added sugar daily are at significantly higher risk for type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, and even certain cancers. And even if you're not eating sweets or drinking soda, sugar is hidden in over 70% of packaged foods, from breads and sauces to low-fat yogurts and breakfast cereals. So even if you think you're eating okay, your body could still be under constant attack from chronic, low-grade inflammation caused by sugar. And as we get older, our body's ability to fight inflammation, detoxify excess sugar, and maintain stable insulin levels decreases. That's why seniors feel the effects of sugar more intensely and more dangerously than younger adults. Sugar in your brain, the memory and mood trap. One of the most important organs sugar affects is your brain. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why? Or struggled to find the right word mid-sentence? While occasional forgetfulness is normal with age, chronically high sugar intake can accelerate these memory lapses, leading to long-term cognitive problems. Here's why. When you consume too much sugar, it causes spikes in your blood glucose levels, followed by crashes. This roller coaster affects the brain's ability to process and store information. Over time, it leads to brain fog, trouble concentrating, and even mood instability, including increased anxiety, irritability, and depressive symptoms. But there's a more serious concern. Research has increasingly drawn a connection between high sugar diets and Alzheimer's disease. So much so that scientists now refer to Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes. Excessive sugar consumption is believed to impair insulin regulation in the brain, just like it does in the body. And since insulin is involved in brain signaling and memory pathways, when your brain becomes insulin resistant, cognitive decline follows. A study published in the journal Neurology found that older adults with higher blood sugar levels, even within a normal range, had significantly worse memory and smaller hippocampus volume, which is a part of the brain that stores and retrieves memories. Another study from the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, showed that high sugar intake decreases the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that helps new neurons grow and supports learning and memory. Without enough BDNF, the brain struggles to form new connections, and that's where memory begins to decline. Imagine pairing that with age-related changes like reduced blood flow to brain and naturally shrinking brain volume. You've got a dangerous combination. Mood is another factor often overlooked. You might think a sugary snack lifts your spirits, and it might, briefly, but what follows is usually a crash. Your energy dips, your focus disappears, and you may even feel emotionally flat or anxious. Seniors already dealing with life transitions, medication side effects, or isolation are especially vulnerable to these mood swings triggered by blood sugar imbalances. So, if you're feeling forgetful, moody, or mentally slower than you used to, your sweet habits could be part of the puzzle. Let's move on to another vital area affected by sugar: your heart and circulation. Sugar's impact on your heart, arteries, and blood pressure. Most people associate sugar with weight gain or diabetes, but its effect on the cardiovascular system is just as serious, especially for seniors. This means when sugar enters your bloodstream, it causes a spike in insulin, which over time contributes to chronic inflammation. This inflammation damages the inner lining of your blood vessels, making them less flexible and more prone to plaque buildup. Over time, the arteries stiffen, leading to a condition called arteriosclerosis, a major risk factor for high blood pressure, heart attack, and stroke. A groundbreaking study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that individuals who consume more than 25% of their daily calories from added sugar were more than twice as likely to die from heart disease compared to those who consumed less than 10%. That's a staggering number. For seniors, who may already be managing high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, or past heart problems, this is critical information. Sugar doesn't just raise blood pressure through weight gain. It also increases levels of triglycerides and lowers HDL, the good cholesterol, a combination that clogs arteries and forces your heart to work harder with every beat. On top of that, sugar can interfere with the nitric oxide production in blood vessels. Nitric oxide helps your arteries relax and expand, allowing smooth blood flow. When nitric oxide is reduced, circulation suffers, especially in the brain, legs, and heart. This poor circulation is what causes seniors to feel cold more often, experience numbness or tingling in the limbs, or struggle with sexual function, all symptoms tied back to vascular health. And the reality is many seniors are on medications like beta blockers or blood thinners. When combined with a high sugar diet, the risk of complications such as arrhythmias, blood pressure spikes, or even stroke goes up significantly. So while it might seem harmless to enjoy that sugary drink or dessert, every bite is either feeding or fighting disease. And the longer sugar sits in your system, the more it fuels the silent processes that lead to heart damage. Sugar and inflammation, the hidden link to joint pain and arthritis. Let's shift focus to something nearly every senior experiences at some point: joint pain, stiffness, or arthritis flare-ups. If you're waking up with aching knees or struggling to open a jar because of stiff fingers, it may surprise you to learn that sugar could be one of the root causes. The reason is sugar is not just an energy source. It's also a known pro-inflammatory agent. When you eat sugary foods, your blood glucose levels spike, and this triggers your body's immune system to release cytokines, the very chemicals responsible for inflammation. And while inflammation can be helpful in fighting infections or healing wounds, chronic inflammation, the kind caused by a high-sugar diet, can become a constant internal fire that damages your tissues, including your joints. For people with osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, sugar acts like fuel to the fire. It not only increases inflammation, but can also worsen joint swelling, increase stiffness, and slow down healing processes. In fact, a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that individuals who consumed more than one sugary soda a day had a 63% higher risk of developing arthritis symptoms compared to those who didn't. And it wasn't just soda. Sugary baked goods, sweetened teas, and processed snacks all contributed to the same inflammatory response. For seniors, who may already be dealing with years of cartilage wear and tear, sugar adds insult to injury. The body's ability to repair and recover is slower after 50, and inflammation caused by sugar slows down joint lubrication, damages connective tissue, and reduces range of motion. The good news is you can feel better, often within weeks, simply by adjusting your diet. Another study from Harvard Health showed that people with arthritis who eliminated added sugars from their diet reported noticeable relief in joint pain and morning stiffness in just 30 days. That's a powerful motivator. If you've been relying on painkillers or anti-inflammatory meds, reducing your sugar intake could help lower your dependence on them. Your knees, hips, hands, and shoulders don't need more pills. They need less inflammation. And the next area sugar attacks, one that many seniors overlook until it's too late, is your mouth and bones. What sugar does to teeth, gums, and bone health in seniors. Your mouth is a gateway to your health, and what you put in affects not just your digestion, but also your teeth, gums, and even your bones. Once you cross the age of 50, you're at a higher risk for tooth decay, gum disease, and bone density loss, all of which sugar can accelerate. Let's start with your gums. When you eat sugar, especially sticky sweets or sugary drinks, it leaves behind a residue on your teeth and along your gum line. This becomes a breeding ground for harmful bacteria, particularly a strain called Streptococcus mutans, which feeds on sugar and produces acid that wears away enamel. This leads to cavities, receding gums, and eventually tooth loss if not properly managed. Gum disease has been directly linked to heart disease, diabetes, and even Alzheimer's disease. So that little bit of sugar that leads to bleeding gums 9. It's not just a dental issue, it's a full body risk. A study published in the Journal of Aging Research found that seniors with untreated periodontal disease, advanced gum infection, were 70% more likely to suffer from systemic inflammation-related illnesses, including heart problems and cognitive decline. And what about your bones? You may think bones are solid and unchanging, but they're living tissue and they're affected by sugar too. Sugar reduces the absorption of key bone-building nutrients like calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. It also increases calcium excretion through the urine, which slowly leaches minerals from your bones. Over time, this can lead to osteopenia, bone thinning, or osteoporosis, increasing the risk of fractures, spinal issues, and frailty. In seniors who already wear dentures, a high sugar diet can lead to oral thrush, poor fit due to gum erosion, and jawbone weakening, making it harder to chew food properly, which in turn affect digestion and nutrient absorption. So what's the solution? It's not about cutting out all sweet taste, but rather cutting out harmful, refined sugars. Choose high-fiber fruits in moderation. Drink plenty of water, brush and floss daily, and visit your dentist regularly. You'd be amazed at how much your entire body improves just by taking care of your mouth. Sugar and sleep. Why your nightly rest may be suffering. Have you ever gone to bed feeling exhausted but found yourself tossing and turning, waking up frequently, or rising in the morning feeling as if you barely slept? If that sounds familiar, the cause may not be age, it could be sugar. Many seniors struggle with insomnia or disrupted sleep. While factors like medication, pain, or anxiety may contribute, a less obvious culprit is your evening sweet tooth. When you eat sugar, especially in the afternoon or evening, it causes a rapid rise in blood glucose, giving you a temporary energy boost. But after that sugar high, your body experiences a rebound crash. This crash doesn't just affect your energy, it messes with your hormones and brain chemistry, including melatonin and cortisol, two key players in sleep regulation. According to a study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine, people who consumed higher amounts of sugar during the day experienced more fragmented sleep, had lighter sleep cycles, and woke up more frequently throughout the night. The researchers concluded that sugar directly affects deep sleep quality, the restorative phase that supports memory consolidation and cellular repair. Now, consider this. Your body does most of its healing during sleep. Growth hormone is released at night to repair muscles, boost immune function, and restore brain tissue. If sugar is disrupting this process, it's not just sleep you're losing. It's the opportunity for true rejuvenation. What's worse is poor sleep increases your cravings for sugar the next day. It's a vicious cycle. Sugar disrupts sleep. Poor sleep increases fatigue. Fatigue leads to sugar cravings, and the cycle repeats. For seniors, this cycle is especially harmful. Sleep is essential to preserving cognitive health, maintaining balanced mood, managing weight, and reducing the risk of chronic conditions. And the sad truth is, sugar quietly steals that from you, one restless night at a time. So, if you're waking up groggy despite spending 7 to 8 hours in bed, it's worth looking at what you ate the day before, especially if sugary foods or drinks crept in after lunchtime. But sleep isn't the only thing sugar is silently sabotaging. Let's move on to a topic many seniors battle daily: weight gain and diabetes. Sugar and weight gain, the belly fat and diabetes cycle. We've been led to believe that fat makes us fat. But in truth, the real culprit behind stubborn weight gain, especially the kind around your belly and internal organs, is often sugar. Sugar, especially added sugar like fructose and glucose, is rapidly absorbed into the bloodstream. This spikes insulin, your body's fat-storing hormone. When insulin is elevated frequently, it tells your body, store this energy as fat and keep it there. Unlike protein or complex carbohydrates, sugar has no satiating effect. It doesn't make you feel full. In fact, it increases your appetite. The more sugar you eat, the more you crave it. It creates a biological drive for overconsumption. The body is particularly efficient at converting excess sugar into visceral fat, the deep belly fat that surrounds your liver, pancreas, and intestines. This kind of fat is metabolically active and dangerous. It releases inflammatory chemicals that raise your risk for high blood pressure, heart disease, and yes, type 2 diabetes. And the alarming part is many seniors don't realize they're in the early stages of insulin resistance. You may not have been diagnosed with diabetes yet, but signs like increased belly weight, constant fatigue, brain fog, and frequent urination can indicate your body is already struggling to manage sugar. A 2020 report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, noted that over 50% of adults over age 65 have prediabetes or diabetes. And many don't even know it. But there's good news. Numerous studies, including research from the American Diabetes Association, show that cutting out sugary beverages, processed snacks, and refined carbohydrates can begin to reverse insulin resistance within weeks. Seniors who reduced their sugar intake saw improvements in waist circumference, energy levels, blood sugar control, and even cognitive performance. One study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that seniors who eliminated added sugars and walked just 30 minutes a day reduced their risk of developing type 2 diabetes by over 60%. Let that sink in. Just reducing sugar and moving more can be as powerful as medication for preventing and even reversing early-stage diabetes. So, when it comes to belly fat, blood sugar problems, and metabolic decline, sugar isn't just a treat, it's a trap. And the longer it continues, the harder it becomes to reverse the damage. The top 10 hidden sugar bombs seniors must avoid. Now, let's talk about something sneaky. Hidden sugars. These are the sugars that show up in foods that seem healthy on the surface, but are actually loaded with added sweeteners. Many seniors trying to eat better fall into this trap. They grab items like low-fat yogurt or whole grain cereal, believing they're making a smart choice. But those very foods might contain more sugar than a donut. Here are 10 of the most common sugar bombs hiding in plain sight. Flavored yogurt. A single serving can contain up to 25 grams of sugar. Granola, marketed as health food, but most brands are drenched in honey or corn syrup. Fruit juice. Even 100% juice can spike blood sugar. It's liquid sugar without fiber. Ketchup and barbecue sauce. Just 1 tablespoon can carry up to 4 grams of sugar. Healthy cereals. Watch out for brands with added honey, molasses, or brown sugar. Protein bars. Many protein bars are just candy bars in disguise. Salad dressings, especially low-fat versions, often packed with sugar to add flavor. Canned soup. In most canned soup, sugar is added for taste and preservation. Bread, especially white or honey wheat bread, sugar hides in many loaves. Dried fruits, raisins, cranberries, and dates can have added sugars on top of natural ones. To protect yourself, always read the nutrition labels. Look beyond sugar on the ingredient list. Sugar hides behind names like fructose, high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, maltodextrin, dextrose, glucose solids, evaporated cane juice. Here's a tip. If sugar or any of its cousins show up in the first three ingredients, put that food back on the shelf. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to what you eat every day. So what do you choose instead? Let's talk about healthy, sweet alternatives. Sweet, but safe. Healthier alternatives that won't harm you. Quitting sugar doesn't mean you have to give up all sweet flavors. Nature offers plenty of safe, satisfying, and health-friendly alternatives, especially for seniors who need to manage blood sugar and inflammation. Here are some of the best sweetener alternatives backed by science. Stevia, a natural, zero-calorie plant extract. It doesn't spike blood sugar and is generally safe. Look for pure stevia, without fillers. Monk fruit, another plant-based sweetener with no impact on blood glucose. It has a smooth taste and works well in baking. Erythritol, a sugar alcohol that doesn't affect insulin levels. It can cause mild stomach upset in large quantities, so use moderately. Avoid artificial sweeteners like aspartame or saccharin, especially for older adults, as studies have raised concerns about long-term gut health and possible links to headaches or memory issues. Instead of reaching for candy or cookies, try these sweet and healthy snacks. Sliced apples sprinkled with cinnamon, delicious and helps balance blood sugar. Frozen berries, naturally sweet and packed with antioxidants. Medjool dates in moderation, rich in fiber and satisfies sugar cravings. Greek yogurt with a dash of vanilla or stevia, creamy, protein-packed, and naturally satisfying. Homemade oat balls, rolled oats, almond butter, cinnamon, and a few raisins make a perfect snack without added sugar. If you like to bake, use mashed banana, applesauce, or unsweetened pumpkin as natural sweeteners. They offer flavor, fiber, and nutrients, unlike refined sugar. The goal is to retrain your taste buds. Within just a few weeks of cutting added sugar, your cravings will drop and natural foods will start to taste sweeter. Now, what actually happens when you say goodbye to sugar for good? Let's talk about the amazing changes seniors can expect. What happens when seniors quit sugar? Real-life transformations. Here's where things get exciting. Quitting sugar doesn't just prevent disease. It transforms lives. Many seniors who reduce or eliminate added sugar from their diets report clearer thinking and improved memory, more energy throughout the day, less joint pain and stiffness, weight loss, especially around the belly, better sleep, improved digestion, more stable mood, and fewer depressive symptoms. A powerful study published by the Mayo Clinic found that older adults who followed a low-sugar diet had a 40% lower risk of developing dementia over a 10-year span. That's not a small number. That's life-changing. Another study from Harvard Medical School showed that seniors who quit sugar reported better insulin sensitivity, meaning their bodies could manage blood sugar more effectively without medication. One woman in her late 60s shared that after 90 days without sugar, she lost 15 pounds. Her arthritic hand pain almost disappeared, and she felt like she had rolled the clock back 10 years. These are not rare stories. These are real people making real change, simply by understanding the hidden dangers of sugar and choosing smarter alternatives. And you can too. If you've been feeling tired, achy, forgetful, or just not yourself lately, sugar might be the missing link. Start small. Read labels. Choose whole foods. Use natural alternatives. And trust that every step you take away from sugar is a step toward a healthier, longer, and more vibrant life. Have you tried cutting out sugar? What did you notice in your body and mind? Drop your experience below. We're responding to every comment and cheering you on.